Started.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the second class of the course Introduction to Applied Linguistics, or the course of Applied Linguistics. This is our second class, and we'll be discussing today, we already have discussed definition, scope, and relevance for the undergraduate linguistic students. So today we'll be talking about some illustration, that means illustrative manners. That means today we'll be talking about some applied manners in more effective ways so that we can understand it more briefly, as this is going to be in the question papers of our midterm, most likely. Okay, so everyone please pen and paper on the table and get ready. So let's go through the topic. So this one already we have done that. So okay, but still we did not have that mobile phone at that day, and we did not get a chance to record it. So today I'm giving you a very brief, as you guys already have written it, and you guys already have these things in your copy, in your scripts, in your classroom scripts. So let me give you a very brief definition. So in this definition, applied linguistics, we already know what are the important things here. So what are the area of work in this place, and what are the things that we should be underlining, and we should be we should be thinking in our back of our mind, so that we can answer the questions of midterms. Okay, just like education, communication, healthcare, and policy, we already have talked about that. Okay, so core characteristics, we already know that. What are the core characteristics of applied linguistics? This is multidisciplinary in approach. Psycholinguistics, social linguistics are also incorporated here, and empirical and context-driven research can also be generated from the within the framework of applied linguistics. Okay, and oriented towards real-life linguistic challenges and solution. Definitely, this is a real-life challenges and solution-based course, because the name is applied. Applied where? Applied in the real world context. Yes, real life. Thank you. So, scope of applied linguistics, we already know that. Language acquisition, pedagogy. Pedagogy means educational policy or educational framework. We already know that. Great. So, translation and interpretation, we already know that. In order to interpret, in order to translate, we have to have that applied linguistic thing. And I already have talked about this thing, as you guys know from the previous class. I talked about this one. So this is Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, and this is the real version of Gulliver's Travels. But the children version, the abridged translation, or transformed version was quite different story from this one. This is the real version, so we need applied linguistics to translate or transform some text, whether it could be a novel, whether it could be a play, whether it could be anything. So this is why we need applied linguistics. So language assessment testing, yes, your exam and your test and your assessments also need some applied linguistics elements within the manner. We already know that. Okay, so relevance in contemporary context, we already talked about that. It is quite relevant in a shorter sentence, in one sentence. This is very relevant in the contemporary context. How? This is this form. Okay, so illustrative examples for today's class basically starts from here. Illustrative example, developing AI-based real-time translation apps. Yes, illustrative examples. Everyone, please write those down. Well, I have written illustrative examples. It is basically the example of real-world context-driven situations. You can also say that. Yes, please write those down. Hey, are you a new person to this class? Lindsay, go to that place. Go to that place.
Sorry.
Just write those down. I'll be discussing it further. Find a seat and settle down quickly. Output. Keep it. Okay, I think you can go there to see properly. Yes, sir. Quite late. Give them some space, yes. Give them some space. Please. Sit down, sit down. Okay, let me explain it to you. So, developing AI-based real-time translation apps. Well, applied linguistics has an impact on developing AI-based real-time translation apps. Just like Google Translator, or there are some apps which we can talk, we can speak in one language and it will deliver in another language as we direct. It's not just like English to Bengali, Bengali to English. It could be Arabic to French, French to Chinese or Mandarin. It could be Mandarin to Spanish. Huh? So it could be anything towards everything. Huh? It could be anything towards everything, yes. And how basically speech to text. Nowadays, even in Google, there's a service which is called speech to text. If you say something, they will write it down for you. How these things work. These things work because applied linguists has basically worked on that place. So how one person in a particular language, how one person expressed one thing, expressed one word, in which manner, in which tone, in which sound, in which velocity, in which speed. These things basically they input, they make the input into that particular website, particular app, whatever you can say, then these patterns, they basically input, they make some input into some patterns, okay? And they basically, the machine recognizes the inputs, the patterns only. Oh, well, he is speaking in this particular manner, that means he is meaning in these particular words. That's why sometimes we say something and they write another thing. Just because we cannot make the machine understand what pattern are we talking in. See, this is why applied linguist has a mark on that particular place. To make machine learn our language, identify our language in the practical, in the current manner. Definitely, this is 2025 and now we are talking in a particular pattern. This is completely different from 1980s people, definitely. So basically, we have to make machine learn our patterns. Patterns are from real world deals with applied version of linguistics. Is that clear how this is relevant to this case? Is that clear how this is relevant to this case?
Yes, sir.
This case? Yes, sir. Thank you. So, number 2, creating curricula for bilingual classrooms using sociolinguistic research. Well, that's one of the that's another important thing. Curricula means more than one curriculum. Curriculum singular. Curricula plural. Can anyone say from which language this type of singular and plural transformation came from? Can anyone say that?
Latin.
Yes, Latin. Thank you. Medium to media. Curriculum to curricula. Thank you. So, creating curricula, that means creating more than one or more than two curriculum so that we can amalgamate in the bilingual classrooms. Maybe, okay, just suppose she is from Spain, he is from Germany, she is from maybe Portugal, so their mother tongue are different. Well, in our case, in this country, there's a very limited condition just like that, many people gathered here with different mother tongues. And I'm definitely not talking about dialects. I'm definitely talking about languages. Yes, just like not, I'm not talking about Noakhali dialect or Borishal dialect or Chittagonian dialect, no, another language. So if I have to amalgamate, I have to accommodate many mother tongue scenarios or many mother tongue students in one classroom, I have to design my lectures, my class notes, my everything accordingly. That means more than one language should be added to my lecture, to my classroom designing, to my question paper also in the midterm and final exams. Am I correct? Yeah. So basically, how will I do that? Maybe there are 30% students who are from Spain, 20% students are from Russia, and 60% students are from England. So, for the 60% students, I have to be talking 60% time in English, definitely, because they are the majority. Yes, definitely, 30% time I have to be dealing with Spanish language. Yes, definitely, because they want to hear something with Spanish. They want to hear something from Spain, from their own culture, because they inherit their own culture. So I have to accommodate that culture also. And then the rest 20%, yes, I have to give some innuendo. Innuendo means, can anyone say that? Innuendo means, what can I say? Innuendo means the clue, the hint. Yes, the hint. Thank you. So the innuendo from Russia also. some Russian heritage, some Russian cultural innuendo. Yes, I can give them also, whether I am talking in English or Spanish or Russian even, I can give them some cultural influence, some cultural hints. Yes, that's right, thank you. From their own culture, so that they think, well, sir is talking about our culture, we can relate that. Yes, now the classroom is getting excited. The classroom is getting more lively. This classroom is basically helps us to understand whatever we came here for. Okay? So, creating curricula, basically it is the work of those people who create curriculum. Okay? So, the policymakers. Well, I already talked about that matter that in Brickland, London, there's a Bengali diaspora, Bangladeshi diaspora, and they have, in their A-levels and O-levels, they have their Bangladeshi, Bangla language, Bengali language, mandatory subject. I already have talked about that, haven't I? Yes, sir. Yes, so that's the decision which has been made by policymakers, the politicians, the government, definitely, the state. Yes, so creating curricula is the work of policymakers, state, government. Okay, for bilingual classroom, not basically, okay, here it has been written bilingual. I could be saying this is multilingual classroom. Bi means two, multi means many. So maybe it is for multilingual classrooms also, using social linguistic research. Yes, social linguistic research means how much people are coming from which area. The more the people contains, the more I should be focusing on that particular culture. Clear? Yes, great. Okay, assisting stroke patients in speech recovery through phonological analysis. Yes, that's right. So basically this is a subtract from healthcare. Okay, so we know some of the patients could be paralyzed, and after stroke, they paralyzed, they lose their speech, the speech organs movement. So basically, some healthcare patients also, or some healthcare experts also says that yes, we need some linguists so that they make them speak just the way they spoke earlier. Okay, so basically this is a collaborative effort from linguists and the healthcare experts also. Okay, so this thing falls under the roof of healthcare. So the last thing is evaluating readability for public health documents. Well, this is one of the most important things. This is one of the most important things nowadays because, well, these things, though these things is for public health documents, it has been written in here, but still it is from policymakers also. Okay, for a real life example, some time earlier, well, maybe it was in early 2000 or 2005, or maybe the late 20th century, that means 1990s, the era of 90s. So there, when the stock market boomed at Dhaka Stock Exchange or in the subcontinent, whether it be Bombay Stock Exchange or DSE, that means Dhaka Stock Exchange. Well, people go there, people went there at that time to, examine their trade. Well, could we just make money or something like that? But people find themselves investing in mutual funds. Mutual fund investment are subjected to the market risk. This thing, basically, they did not told the customers that, well, you are investing, everyone, you are investing money in a stock, whether this could be giving you, or this could give you some profits. Maybe there's a chance of risk, your money could vanish. So they did not basically bound to refer that news to the customers. But then Stock Exchange Regulatory Commission afterwards, maybe, well, I could be wrong, but maybe in 2007 or 8 or maybe 9 or 10, they formulated a new rule that if you are taking someone's money, you have to tell them whether there's a risk or not that their money could drown. Yes, documents. Basically, public health documents should be written clearly, and if there is any risk about your health, your wealth, it should be written very carefully, very clearly, without any hesitation, without any dubious meaning, without any hedges, so that you can read it and then you can sign the consent form. Yes, I am consenting. I am agreeing with your terms and conditions. Yes, there's a risk, but still I want it. Maybe whether it could be prior to the operation, before going to the operation. Yes, we already know that before going to the operation, doctor give us a form which is named consent form, and we have to sign it. Yes, you have a risk of your life, but still you have to sign it. So readability, that means we can understand everything by reading that thing without hedges and with a clear cut vision. So it's it is basically it falls on the roof of policymakers, but it is the work of applied linguistics also. Thank you. And then, so real world domains of applied linguistics. Real world domains of applied linguistics: education, technology, healthcare, policy, translation. This is the basically numbers of percentage. Okay, 35%, 25%, 15, 15, and translation in 10%. Would you please just write those numbers at least? If you can draw that diagram, that could be well. If you cannot draw the diagram, please write those numbers at least. Isn't it quite a bit easier one than before?
Okay.
See? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it the easiest one?
Yes, sir.
Just the way you did before?
Yes, sir.
Things you
Sir, ज़्यादा अपना robotics technology classes होता है.
This is the easiest one, huh?
It's easy more than previous one.
Everyone sign that your attendance sheet.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Policy or healthcare. Sir, exam में क्या वो diagram आशे
Okay, let's do it for. Let's do it for. Let's leave it for the next class.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So basically here we can say education. Hey. Education is the mostly used domain by applied linguistics. Definitely, applied linguistics. Applied linguists love to be in the domain of education. Technology, yes, nowadays, text to speech, AI-driven apps, and Google translators, many other translation apps are using that. That's why technology resides in the second place. Healthcare and policymakers are using the third place, combining the Mildly with the mark of 15%, and then translation. Well, translation, they are basically, translation means translation works on novel, and translation works on those drama, epic, or those things, which is quite a bit, not education, not falls under the roof of education, but falls under the roof of culture and art and culture. Okay, so the art and cultural translations. Yes. Let's not confuse ourselves. Translation with education or translation with technology. Right now. So some of you are trying to illustrate those in your scripts. Great. I really love your emancipation. I really love your trying. Great. Okay, this thing was quite of self-explanatory. There's nothing to explain it further. We already know these things, right?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, so
what are the numbers in between?
oh well, these are percentages. These are percentages. These are basically percentages.
This uses percentages.
Well, these are the percentages: 35%, 25%, 15%.
Already completed.
Indeed. Okay. Hey, no. Well, you can take help from your classmates, or I can always upload it to the portal. So you have to wait. Or maybe you can come over there. Hey, you can come over here. No problem with it. Come on. There's no problem of coming in front, because I was one of those persons in the class, as I have great spectacles in front of my eyes, so I always had to sit in the frontal benches. So there's no problem if you can't see from the back. Okay, done. Thank you. So methodological approaches, would you please write it down, then I will make you understand quickly. Quick. Write it down, please. Okay, there's no problem if you can't see. Come on, come here. There's an empty bench. Yes, come over here. Okay, no humming, no sound. While writing, let me explain it to you. You guys keep writing. So methodological approaches is which methodology we will apply, or apply linguists apply to be in the focus of applied linguistics. So applied linguistics incorporate how many methods? There are definitely 3 methods. Number 1, qualitative methods. Number 2, quantitative methods. Number 3, mixed methods. Okay, number 1, qualitative methods. That's the easiest one. And ethnography, case studies and discourse analysis. Well, ethnography, just forget it. Case studies and discourse analysis are quite a bit self-explanatory. Discourse studies, they used to study the discourse and then they come to a conclusion that, well, this thing happened in that particular way. Okay? They examine the discourse and they come to the conclusion that this thing is happening in that particular way. Right. Case studies, they basically study some cases. Well, in this case, in this particular area, in this particular ghetto, in this particular neighborhood, they talk in that particular manner. They used to use that language in this particular manner. Why? They study, they research, and then they come to a conclusion. Okay, so this is the main theme of qualitative method. Then number 2, quantitative methods. That means the number qualitative. Okay, in the qualitative method, the numbers do not play a vital role. But in the quantitative methods, the numbers does play, or the number does play a vital role. How? So, forget about corpus linguistic, experimental design. So, in order to get the numbers properly, some people experiment with some design. That means they create some design so that they can experiment how much or how many are there. Maybe I can form a questionnaire with some, I can design a questionnaire and then give it to you. Then you guys can tick marks in those questions, and then you can submit those papers to me, and then I can say, okay, 30% of the students think these part of language should be using in that manner. 40% of students thinks that this part of language should be continued. See, the numbers basically plays a vital role in the quantitative methods. But in the qualitative methods, number doesn't play vital role, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then psychometrics, most important part here. Now, I hope you guys will know the basic core of psychometric test you guys attend. Well, the psychometric test basically deals with your number. See, recall your memory. Just after entering the room of psychometric test, the first thing your HOD says, well, your numbers are not good. Your midterm marks is not good. Okay, how will you pass this exam? Your grades are very low. See, the game of numbers. Am I correct? Come on.
Yes, sir.
You all have gone through this. You guys could know better than me these things.
Yes, sir.
After entering into the psychometric room, the first thing you can hear is your grades are not good. Your numbers are not good. Your percentage of attendance is very poor. See? So, the psychometrics basically falls under the roof of quantitative. That means numbers are counted at there. Okay? Done. Then the mixed method basically combining statistical and interpretive insights. Well, mixed method in general sense, mixed method means the combination of qualitative methods and quantitative methods. That means some qualitative portion are presented there and some quantitative portions are also being added there. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So there are some academic references. For these slides, you can you do not have to write those down unless and until if you have an urge to read further. These are some books from where I made this slide. Okay, definitely this slide is not mine. That means I haven't made that slide whimsically. I have taken this slide from these books. Okay, so these are some academic references where you can find what I have told you. What I have told you in very brief, you can find very elaborative versions of my speech from these books. Okay, you can always write it down, but you don't have to write it down for your exam. But if you want to study further, if you want to study and understand more deeply, these books always will help you. Is that correct, Vijay? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. So this is it. So the conclusion, you don't have to write it down. Conclusion says applied linguistics is pivotal. Hey, can anyone say the word meaning of pivotal? Come on. Pivotal? Yes, significant. Maybe
Sir,
significant.
reference.
Important.
Reference slide.
So can you show the reference slide, please?
Yes, sir. Hey, no. You can write it down, but you can never take a photograph. Okay, I can give you one minute. Just write it down, no problem. Okay, thank you, no problem. So, in the conclusion, be with me, please, everyone. Applied linguistics is pivotal. That means important for understanding, mediating, and improving human communication across diverse contexts. Across diverse contexts means any context, any situation. Maybe it could be in London, it could be in Paris, it could be in Bangladesh. No problem on that. So, its relevance continues to grow as language remains central to education, technology, government, and identity. Okay? So that's the end of today's slide. Thank you, everyone. Would you please